And Saundra, you had 20 years of pharma experience before you founded WomanCare Global. What was the most surprising thing about that transition for you, would you say?
Well, so I guess I would say, I think the most surprising was that it's so competitive in the nonprofit world to get funds. And not only is it competitive, but if you don't have an organization that is the size to make a scalable impact right away, sometimes you don't get funded. So it's very, very difficult because if you're a donor, you want to show that you've used the money for an impact that's as immediate as possible. So the big organizations that have been around a long time just have more people. So the money is usually going there. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start out young and small, you have good, innovative ideas, but you don't get the funding that you need because you can't make the kind of impact. So I was surprised at how competitive the nonprofit funding world was. And I was shocked and frankly a little disappointed. And I really thought, well, we're going to have to find another way to sustain ourselves.
But you figured it out. What's the key? What should everyone know right now who's trying to do this and finding it exactly as competitive?
Well, so I don't want to be Captain Obvious, but everybody has been talking about and continues to talk about public-private partnerships. I really believe, one, it's the answer to sustainable change. And the reason that I think that is that there are a lot of investors that are capitalistic investors, but they're very globally conscious. They understand, for example, that if women have access to sustainable contraception, if there's less people on the planet by choice, there's going to be a huge economic impact. So if you can figure out as a nonprofit how you can partner with other nonprofits so that you can make a big impact, you could appeal more to the private sector. So private sector says, well, all NGOs want to do is hit us up for money, which is probably true. But the one smart thing NGOs could do is figure out who are the 2 or 3 other smaller organizations that you can combine together to then make an impact to make yourselves more attractive to the private sector. So bottom line is what we've done is we've partnered with a company called Evofem, public-private partnership. They develop innovative technologies, and we get to take them into emerging markets.
And speaking of partnerships, I'm interested to hear, with so many new players, partnerships have grown and changed a ton since you founded WomanCare Global. Has your strategy changed along with that, or how have you kept up with those changes?
So we have been forced, rightfully so, to recognize our core competency, be true to it, and not develop skills that we don't naturally have to chase money. So we really identified what we're great at and continue to be good at it, and not tried to do other things, which I think has honestly been a helpful focus.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and I think one of the things that you're recognized for being good at is access and finding that access of contraceptive products in rural areas, remote areas. What are you learning there? I think it's being talked about here at Women Deliver, the importance of access and the challenges of that access. So what can you add to that conversation?
Well, so we're learning a lot of things that I think a lot of people know, but what's interesting is we're learning that women will find ways to be creative to get the kind of access they need. For example, we went in and we did this due diligence with a whole group of women in Kenya and said, look, there's a product that's going to be hormone-free, and it's a contraceptive gel. And we've been told that women won't use anything you have to insert vaginally. And we want to understand why, and what are the issues, and what are the barriers. And what we recognize is women said, you know what, as long as you don't promote it as a contraceptive, if you promote it as a lubricant so that we're creating more sexual pleasure for the man, we can use it because our partners will think it's all about them. We're doing it to be more pleasurable, but we know that it has a contraceptive indication, so everybody gets to win. We get to have smaller family sizes. They get to believe we're doing it for the betterment of them. Women will find a way. They will find a way if they're given the options. And so, the one thing that we have found is that, the more you can connect and interact with women, they'll give you the answers. You just have to make sure that you're really listening.